Well, I think I was just born to lead. And I think you lead by example also. It's not always about what you say. Guys watch me every day in practice. They watch me, in the locker room, how I respond to coaching, the discipline, the hard work. And I think if you're consistent with that, guys tend to fall in line.
One thing I've learned, there are people who would talk but can't actually walk it.
Right.
They say you walk the talk or you talk the walk. And this is something that you were born with. Were you really this way when you were younger?
I was blessed to be this way, and since I was never the tallest, I had to figure out how I could fit in. That was my niche of fitting in. And I think more than anything, guys, your teammates or fans or coaches, they want to see how you respond under pressure. So it's not just in practice when there's no popcorn, but it's when the games start. And then in the fourth quarter of a game, or in a back-to-back game when your body's physically tired, that's under pressure. And if you can come through and be consistent under those type of situations, then you will gain more and more respect from your peers and the people that you work with.
Coach, earlier I heard you talking, the way you were talking about the Philippines, talking about how passionate the fans was. To you, what do you think of the Filipino people? How much, because this place, they love basketball so much, the Philippines. And to you, just based from what you've heard so far of the Philippines, what you've seen so far while you're here, how's the Philippines like for you?
Well, it's great. For me, it started on the plane ride over. I probably took more pictures on the plane ride over than any plane ride. So fans were just excited, and they obviously want you to be able to rest and relax, but sometimes they can't contain it.
Yeah.
And I always heard that the Filipino fans were passionate about basketball, but to actually be here and feel it, and to see how proud they are of a guy who I think is a terrific coach in Eric Spoelstra, seeing all of the different documentaries and story on his life, and obviously knowing a little bit about Manny Pacquiao as a boxer and how the country's proud of him. It just shows that the fans here, and even with the professional league here, there's a lot of pride, and the NBA is really growing here, and I'm just glad to be here.
Also, in like a day or two, you're going to be going to Cebu to help out with the typhoon victims, and even those in the province, they're hoop junkies. They love the NBA. So, you personally, how much are you looking forward to the trip to go to Cebu to help out?
Well, the NBA is not just about athletes making a bunch of money and running around the court slam dunking or driving nice cars and living in big houses. The NBA has always been about caring, and that's what I love about the NBA Cares program. It's about giving back, and especially to give back to somebody who can't necessarily give you anything. And going into I'm from New Orleans, so New Orleans has been hurt by a lot of hurricanes, especially Hurricane Katrina. So whenever I have a chance to go in and give back and help bring some hope and a smile to somebody's face that's been just in a tough situation, that's what this trip is all about.
Well, you played for other teams as well, but we all know you're a Spur. You're a Spur. They retired your number. You're a San Antonio Spur. What can you say? You won it in '99. You hit that shot, and now they win again in 2014. What can you say about that fabulous run?
It's great because a lot of the same philosophy that Coach Popovich had in '99, it still stands today. And when I watched him play, sure, he's had to tweak certain things based on their talent level, but the same core values of his team, character, communication, competing, it still stands today. The game hasn't changed, and Coach Popovich hasn't changed. So it's just great to see guys like Tony Parker and Manu and Tim Duncan carry the torch of what we started in 1999.
It's amazing what a fabulous run. One last thing. Lots of head coaches now, former point guards. Why is that?
I just think we've always been an extension of the coach. We've always been the guys that have stayed longer after practice, came a little bit earlier. And we just had to think the game cerebrally. And I think because of that, we've retained quite a bit of information. And, you know, sometimes the big guys, when they retire, they say, you know, that's it. They don't want to coach anymore. But we've always been coaches on the floor. And when we retire, sometimes it's a natural progression or transition to go into coaching.
So coach, it's or general. Sorry.
That's all right.
I
Call me
prefer
whatever
the
you want.
general.
Yeah.
So it's not really the size of the person, but the size of the fight in that person. Yeah. Which is what you've been all about.
Yeah, that's been my whole career, and I can sum it up in this one story. There are two identical vehicles on a parking lot. One has a flat tire and one doesn't, but they cost the same amount of money. So obviously when you go to buy the car, you're gonna say, hey, give me the one that doesn't have the flat tire. But what you fail to realize is I went and bought the one with the flat tire because the other one, the engine wasn't working. He had no heart. You can put some air in the flat tire, but that's what life is all about. You got to have an engine, you got to have a heart. You may not be able to jump as high, you may have a flat tire, but you got to have heart. And that's what my whole career was about. Okay?
Coach,
All right, okay.
if you don't mind me asking one question.
Yep.
The 2015 NBA champions will be, care to make a prediction?
Well, right now it's your Spurs. I think they're going to
Spurs.
repeat. I don't see anybody out there that can beat them in a 7-game series.